Welcome to Her Subconscious Blueprint, your no BS space for subconscious healing, bold breakthroughs, and manifestations. I'm Jen Boyd, hypnotherapist, mindset coach, and your new healing hype girl. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most important shifts you'll ever make. If you want to manifest your desires instead of staying stuck in patterns you don't want, it's the difference between asking for what you want versus focusing on what you don't want. And I promise you, this one shift will absolutely change everything. Here's what I mean. Most people think they're manifesting when they say things like, I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to be in a toxic relationship. I don't want to feel anxious all the time. I don't want to be in traffic. It feels like we're declaring something powerful, like we're pushing away what doesn't serve us. But here's the catch. The subconscious mind doesn't process negatives the way you think it does. Energy responds to the vibration we're giving out. And when you're focused on what you don't want, you're actually energizing and magnetizing it. I've studied a lot of what Esther Hicks teaches, and you've heard me talk about her probably pretty often. And what I've learned from studying this and experiencing it in my own life is the universe doesn't hear the don't. It doesn't hear the don't in your sentence. It simply hears the vibration of what you're focusing on and the feeling. So when you say, I don't want any more debt, what you're actually broadcasting is debt, debt, debt. You're putting your energy and attention into the very thing you want to escape. And because of the law of attraction and the law of vibration, you're literally calling in more of it. Let me prove it to you right now. If I tell you, don't think of an elephant, what happens? Let me guess. You immediately pictured an elephant, right? Your brain doesn't skip over the don't. It locks onto the image. That is exactly how your subconscious works. It can't filter out the negative. It only locks on to this subject of your focus. Your mind is powerful, but here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize your mind and your subconscious cannot hold two opposing beliefs at the same time. You cannot vibrate at the frequency of abundance while also gripping tightly to the belief of lack. You can't fully embody the thought, I am safe and supported, while also running the belief, I'm always alone and things never work out for me. The subconscious mind doesn't have room for both. One belief always cancels the other one out. Think of it like trying to tune a radio. You can't be tuned into two stations at the same time. If you're tuned into, say, 101.5, that's all you hear. You don't get half of 101.5 and half of 98.7. Your radio picks one frequency and amplifies it. Your mind works the same way. If you're tuned into fear, the vibration of fear drowns out faith. If you're tuned into lack, the vibration of lack drowns out abundance. But the moment you pivot and you choose to focus on the thought that supports you, your whole system begins to shift into that vibration. This is why positive affirmation, if done right, gratitude practices, and speaking your desire into existence are so powerful. Again, only if they are done right. They're not just nice thoughts. They're literally retuning your mental radio to a new station. And once you're on that new frequency, the old belief can't play at the same time. It's impossible. So every time you catch yourself in a negative loop, remember, you have the power to change the station. You can't hold both. So which one you choose determines not just how you feel in the moment, but what you're going to attract in the next. This is why the law of vibration is so important to understand. Everything in the universe is energy. Every thought, every word, every belief, every emotion carries a vibration. You don't get what you want. You get what you vibrate. And your vibration comes from where you place your attention. When you speak, I don't want to be broke, you vibrate lack. When you say, I don't want to be threatened this way, you vibrate the energy of mistreatment. And because like attracts that frequency, the frequency keeps cycling in your life. When you say, I don't want to be treated this way, you vibrate the energy of mistreatment. And because like attracts that frequency keeps cycling back into your life. But here's the good news. The moment you shift into speaking what you do want, everything changes. Instead of, I don't want more debt, say things like, I'm calling in financial freedom. I'm aligned with abundance. I'm attracting money with ease. Instead of, I don't want to feel anxious, you speak, I'm safe, I'm calm, I'm rooted in peace. Instead of, I don't want toxic relationships, you affirm, I attract relationships that feel nourished, supportive, and full of love. Esther Hicks always says, you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. And that's the piece most people miss. You cannot manifest from a place of resistance. You manifest from a place of alignment. The only way to move out of the energy of resistance is to pivot into the new energy of desire. So here's where I want you to get practical with you. Let's do a quick exercise together. Think of something that you've been wanting to manifest. Maybe it's more money, a new career opportunity, a loving partnership, a simple peace of mind. Now, notice how you've been thinking about it. Have you been saying things like, I don't want to struggle with bills anymore, or I don't want to be single forever, or I don't want to feel stuck in this job? Be honest with yourself here, because awareness is everything. Now, I want you to take those don't want statements and flip them into do want statements. If it's, I don't want to struggle with bills, shift it to, I welcome ease and overflow in my finances. Money flows to me in unexpected and expected ways. If it's, I don't want to be single forever, reframe that to, I attract a partner who loves me, cherishes me, and grows with me. Love is already making its way to me. If it's, I don't want to feel stuck, say, I'm open to opportunities that light me up and align with my purpose. Do you feel the difference here? That's the law of vibration at work. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about recognizing that where attention goes, energy flows. You can either keep pouring fuel on what you don't want, or you can redirect the flame towards what you do want. One path keeps you stuck, while the other expands you. You choose. And here's another tool that I use daily. Speak it into existence with gratitude, as if it's already here. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations that you can emit. When you say, I am so grateful for the financial freedom that is already unfolding in my life, you step into the vibration of already having it. When you declare, thank you for the peace and joy I feel every day, your subconscious begins aligning your actions and your energy to match that statement. Gratitude tricks your subconscious into embodying your desires now, not someday. One of the most powerful practices you can use is the art of scripting. Writing or speaking your reality as if it's already here. Imagine opening your journal and writing from the perspective of your future self, maybe a year from now. You're describing how your life looks and feels as if it's already happened. You might write, I can't believe how much abundance has flown into my life this year. I feel so supported, so aligned, and so fulfilled. My relationships are thriving, my work feels meaningful, and money comes with ease. When you do this, you're giving your subconscious a clear set of instructions. And the more consistently you do this, the more your subconscious begins to accept it as truth. Once your subconscious believes it, your energy, your decisions, your actions, they start to align with the story, and your reality begins to shift to match that. I want you to really lean in with me here, because speaking this out loud, it isn't just about the words. It's about bringing awareness to yourself in real time. When you start to notice the things you say, you begin to hear your subconscious patterns as they play out. And once you hear them, you can interrupt them. That's the power of awareness. The moment you catch yourself saying something that isn't aligned, you've already created an opening for change. Here's the thing. Your outer world is always reflecting your inner vibration. If you want to shift what's showing up around you, you have to start with what you're putting out within you. Again, let's go back to thinking of it like a radio frequency. If you're tuned into static, you can't get a clear song, no matter how much you twist the knob on the speaker. You have to change the frequency, not the speaker. And it's the same with your life. You don't change the picture by trying to force what's already on the screen. You change it by adjusting the channel inside. That's why manifestation isn't about grinding harder or hustling more. It's about aligning your inner state with the reality you actually want to experience. So let me give you one more simple but very powerful exercise that you can start right now. For the next 24 hours, I want to challenge you to pay attention to every time you say the word, I don't want, or I don't like. Just notice it. It might surprise you how often those phrases slip out in your conversations, in your thoughts, in your little throwaway comments. And when you hear it, I want you to pause, take a breath, and flip it. Turn it into I do want, or I'm ready for, or I welcome. It might feel clunky at first, but the more you do it, the more natural it will feel. Let me give you a few more examples. You're sitting in traffic and you start grumbling, ugh, I don't like this traffic. Catch yourself, pause, and flip it. Try saying, I'm so grateful for this extra time to listen to my favorite podcast, or I'm thankful for the safety of getting where I need to be. You might be feeling exhausted and you hear yourself saying, I don't want to be this tired. Flip it. Instead, say, I welcome energy and vitality into my body. I am open to feeling more rested and supported. Do you recognize and feel the difference here? One statement pulls you deeper into resistance and frustration, while the other opens you up to possibilities and shifts your vibration and your energy instantly. And I promise you, once you start practicing this, you will begin to notice. You'll catch yourself mid-sentence and think, oh wow, there it is again. That's the awareness I want you to recognize. And the more you notice it, the more you interrupt the old pattern. Every time you flip it, you're rewiring your brain. You're training your subconscious to look for what you want instead of what you don't want. You're teaching your nervous system to hold gratitude, openness, desire, and safety instead of stress, scarcity, resistance, and fear. Do this just for 24 hours and watch what happens. Watch how much lighter you feel. Watch how conversations shift. Watch how opportunities seem to line up. Because the second you step out of the I don't want energy and into the I welcome energy, you've already raised your frequency, and life can only mirror back what you're broadcasting. So when you're broadcasting openness, gratitude, and desire, that's exactly what starts to flow towards you. Here's the thing. Manifestation isn't magic in the sense that it drops something into your lap instantly. It's magic in the sense that when you align your words, your thoughts, and your vibration, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself around you. It's law. And when you practice consistently, you'll start to notice synchronicities, opportunities, and inspired ideas showing up that align with what you've been focusing on. That's not a coincidence. That's creation. You are co-creating with the universe. Like I've taught and said so many times, manifestation is a lot like planting a seed in the garden. When you plant the seed, you don't dig it up every single day to check if it's growing. You don't stand over it impatiently saying, "Why aren't you growing? Why aren't you a flower yet? Why aren't you sprouting faster?" That's not how nature works. What do you do instead? You give it sunlight, you water it, you make sure the soil has its nutrients it needs. And then you trust. You trust that under the surface, even though you can't see it yet, something is happening. Manifestation works the exact same way. Speaking your desires out loud is planting the seed. Every time you say, "I am calling in financial freedom," or "I'm attracting healthy, nourishing relationships," or "I'm safe and supported in all areas of my life," you're putting that seed into the soil of your subconscious and into the vibrational field of the universe. From there, it's not your job to keep digging it up and questioning if it's working. It's your job to water it with belief, to give it the sunlight of gratitude, to feed it with alignment and aligned actions and positive expectations. And when you trust the process, you create the conditions for your seed to bloom. And just like in a garden, it often takes time. Growth doesn't happen overnight, but the roots are forming, the energy is moving, and eventually that seed will push through the soil and blossom into something beautiful. The key is not to kill the seed with doubt, fear, and constant digging. Speak it out loud, plant it, nourish it, and then let it grow. Let's talk about the science for a minute, because this isn't just spiritual woo-woo language or feel-good talk. This is neuroscience. Your brain literally wires itself around what you focus on the most. Imagine walking through a field of tall grass. The first time you take the path, it's hard. You're pushing through the weeds, you're moving branches out of the way. It feels messy, but the more times you walk the same path, the easier it gets. Eventually, it becomes a clear trail. Your brain works the exact same way. Every thought you repeat is like walking the same path. If your daily thoughts sound like, "I don't want to be broke, I don't want to feel stuck, and I don't want to be alone," you're reinforcing the trail over and over and over again. And your brain, being efficient, says, "Okay, this is the path we will take." It becomes automatic. That's why you can get caught in spirals so easy, because the path is already well worn. But here's the good news. You can build a new path at any time. When you intentionally catch yourself and flip "I don't want" into "I do want," you're stepping off the old trail and starting to carve a new one. At first, it feels clunky and messy. It feels forced. You might even laugh at yourself because it feels so unnatural. But with repetition, that new thought, the new pathways, they get stronger, and the old ones start to fade. Over time, what once felt like effort becomes automatic. That's the power of neuroplasticity. Your brain is always rewiring itself to match what you repeat. So when you constantly choose the do want, you're literally training your brain to expect good things. You're creating new neural pathways. And those that wire together, fire together. Now, let's go deeper into the emotional side of this because you know as well as I do, it's not just the thought. It's the feeling and the emotion behind the thought that matters. The words, I don't want, carry a vibration of frustration, fear, or lack. You can feel it in your body. Say it out loud right now. I don't want to feel tired. Notice how heavy that feels. Notice the tension it creates in your chest, in your stomach, maybe even your jaw. Now, let's flip it. Say, I welcome energy and vitality into my body. Instantly, there's a lift. Your body feels lighter, more open. That's because words carry energy, and energy is contagious inside of your nervous system. The moment you shift from resistance to desire, your nervous system responds. Your breath slows down. Your shoulders soften. Your mind feels calmer. That's not an accident. That's your body aligning with a new vibration. And here's the most important part. Emotion is energy in motion. That means the emotional charge behind your words is what you're actually broadcasting to the world. If you keep saying, I don't want this and I don't like this, you're radiating the frequency of frustration, resistance, and life is going to mirror that back to you. But when you shift into I want, I welcome, I'm ready for, you're broadcasting openness, clarity, and desire. And then the world responds. The outer experiences always rise to meet your inner vibration. Now, let me put this into something very practical. This isn't about saying it once and expecting your whole life to suddenly change overnight. This is about the long game. Think of it like building a muscle. You don't go to the gym one time and expect to have a six-pack. You show up consistently. You repeat the reps. And over time, your body starts to reflect the effort. Your mind is no different. Catching yourself and flipping the don't want and do want is a daily practice. It's retraining your brain, reconditioning your subconscious, and re-patterning your nervous system. Some days you'll catch yourself 100 times, and that's okay. Every interruption is progress. Every flip is a rep. And eventually, something beautiful happens. The practice becomes natural. What once took effort becomes automatic. You'll catch yourself mid-through a sentence and you'll flip it before you even realize it. And when that happens, your entire vibration shifts. That's when life starts to feel easier. That's when opportunities line up faster. That's when synchronicities become the norm. Because you trained your mind and your body to live in the frequency of desire instead of resistance. And once you're there, life has no choice but to mirror it back. So if you take just one thing away from this episode, let it be this. Stop giving energy to what you don't want. Your subconscious doesn't understand don't. Your vibration doesn't distinguish between rejection and desire. Energy simply amplifies what you focus on. Choose to focus on what you want. Speak it with clarity. Write it with gratitude. Live it as though it's already true. Because in the vibrational realm, it already is. And I am so full of love and gratitude that I get to share my story with you. This is Her Subconscious Blueprint, where we don't just chase the dreams, we become them. And remember, you don't get what you want, you get who you are. So go out and be that version today. Much love and gratitude. I will see you next time.